Welcome to the Legal Leaders Podcast with Ali Rafi. Dina Segal is the Chief Legal Officer at Gusto, where she leads legal, compliance, and government affairs for a platform serving over 400,000 small businesses across the country. In this episode, Dina walks through her incredible career journey, from working on a wide variety of things in big law, including tax, litigation, and corporate-related matters, to transitioning in-house and rising through the ranks into executive leadership. Her passion for helping small businesses and maintaining a learning mindset are a central theme throughout the episode. She also breaks down how she's thinking about legal tech and AI, and what companies should be doing to stay on the cutting edge as technology in the space changes rapidly. We hope you enjoy the episode. Dina Segal, Chief Legal Officer at Gusto. Welcome to the podcast.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on. I'd love to start out by hearing about your origin story. You've spoken about being motivated to pursue law because of your grandfather, who was a lawyer in Ukraine. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Thanks for asking that question. I was very close with my grandfather. He's not with us anymore. But I was born Ukraine myself, and my grandfather for many decades was an attorney. And at the heart of what he was doing was advocacy, right? It might have been a different system, different times, right? A lot of things change, technology, all of the different things, obviously different location. But he really, really dedicated his life to advocacy. And he told me so many stories growing up of his experience doing that, how he impacted his communities, how he got to know people, really get to know people, get to know businesses through his experience. And I remember being a pretty young kid, 10 years old, 11 years old, hearing those stories and going, that sounds like a really, really awesome career. I will also say coming in, as an immigrant, we had a lot of folks starting their own businesses left and right. My father being one of them, later my brother as he grew up, a lot of people in our community. And so started to kind of, as I grew up, see so many of their struggles too. And it all came together where I'm like, wow, you have a vision, you have a skill set, you want to build a business or you want to do something. And there's a lot of complexity to navigate. And it kind of all came together with what my grandfather always said. And so it really stuck with me. And I think by the time I was 13, 14, I was pretty set that this is what I wanted to do. Now seems very early, but was really evident to me early on.
Yeah. You really are. It seems like an advocate for small businesses. Obviously, Gusto supports over 400K businesses, which is amazing. And I've seen a lot of your advocacy for women-run businesses and small businesses and stuff like that. Would you say that passion started from being surrounded by that with your family?
Absolutely. I would say it started with the stories my grandfather told. It really became real. Stories become real in action and living in it. And so very early on, like I mentioned, maybe when I was 6, 7 years old, I started seeing that journey for my parents, who obviously new to this country, getting to the language, but also trying to figure out how to weave through the complexity of what it takes to even start a business, run a business, hire people. It's a lot of different things that are involved in doing that. And obviously, as I became more aware, as you do, right, your perspective changes when you're not a child anymore. I remember being in college and starting to do some internships at law firms and different things, and actually getting more curious about the business of different folks in my family. It was really, really, really inspirational to say, wow, you can actually really help someone. Right. Yeah. I think people often, and I'm sure you've experienced this too, they think about the job of a lawyer as maybe, dealing with only adversarial situations. And that could be part of it. But actually, a lot of it is about being a builder and just helping people and advocating for people.
What an awesome origin story. And then, Dina, obviously, you went to Winston Strawn after graduating law school. But did you know you wanted to be a litigator, or did you think you wanted to do more corporate side work?
Yeah, it's a wonderful and very targeted question. So if you look at kind of on a high level my journey, a lot of people graduate law school and go on to a big firm opportunity. But I did that right in the middle of an entire economic meltdown back in that 2008, 2009 timeframe. And so I actually wanted to and always wanted to be closer to the business side. And at the time, there just wasn't a lot of work in that space. There wasn't a lot of companies raising money or being sold or doing different kinds of things. And so at the time when I came in, I had a really amazing opportunity to be at Winston. Winston's a wonderful firm. And the work that was really, really interesting and that put me in that kind of real learning mindset at the time was in a very large mix of things, actually, and it turned out to be a phenomenal foundation for my entire legal career. So I did litigation. I also did a lot of state and local tax, not in my plan at all. This is about, really showing up for the opportunity in front of you. I also did, because I could speak the language, I was doing FCPA work actually with people doing business with Russia. And in addition to all of that, there was actually whole kind of cities and counties in California going bankrupt. So there was municipal bankruptcy matters as well. So it was nothing I had planned. And looking back, all I'm grateful for, because it's the kind of foundation of diversity and learning mindset that you bring with you your entire career. Um, when the economy some years later did pick back up, I had the opportunity then to join Sheppard Mullin and get into a more of a, I'd say, corporate track, right, where we were doing a lot of deals and helping companies form and grow and sell, and through all of their different parts of their life cycles. And those two combinations of experience doing that in a firm environment were extremely foundational, I would say, for my whole career.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it sounds like it was challenging graduating during an economic collapse and then still being able to land a big law role is really impressive. I am curious because I feel like it's not easy to switch from litigation to corporate in big law. So how did you go about doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think any pivot or switch, when you're already deeper in your career, always has that trade-off, right? You know something, you have experience in it, you speak the language, you know the people involved. You can take a lot of the goodness from what you took there in your pivot and have a super, super strong learning mindset, because you're not going to know the new skill set. So knowing how to help clients that I learned at Winston, solving super complex problems, navigating, frankly, a complex, large law firm environment successfully were all skills I took with me, knowing that I'm not going to know how to run end-to-end an M&A deal because I hadn't done it yet. And so I was really grateful for the team at Sheppard that were open-minded to seeing the spikes that I brought in and saying, we're going to start you off in some of these smaller deals. You're going to learn and you're going to ramp up. And obviously, that's a two-way road, like everything is. They gave me the opportunity, and I need to step up and do a good job at that opportunity. But it all kind of came together really, really well, because when you look at a client holistically, you need to know their business, you need to know their risk appetite, you need to know how to solve their problems or help them solve their problems. And so a lot of those skills are transferable, and then you learn the hard skills through the projects as you're doing them.
Love to hear it. Yeah. Sounds like you just had like a learning mindset. I do want to ask about location. I know you were in San Francisco and we went back to San Diego to Del Mar. Is your heart in San Diego?
That's a wonderful question. I would say I have a lot of family in San Diego, which is what brought me back here, and also the Sheppard Mullin experience. An opportunity happened to be in San Diego, so those things melded very well together. I do spend today a lot of time going to the San Francisco, Denver, New York offices of Gusto. I love to be in person with the team. I love to connect with the team in person, and so that balance has been really, really good to be able to be with family, but to pretty actively come up and spend time live with the team. And so I would say that it's my heart is extended across the country, but family is more close to San Diego.
Love to hear it. Let's talk about the transition in-house. I guess my first question is more broad. Let's say you're a big law lawyer. How do you know when it's time to look for an in-house position?
I think both journeys bring a lot of wonderful parts to them, and it's about being really true to yourself on how you want your day to go, and how you want to drive your impact. You can draw a lot of impact through both opportunities. So when you're at a firm, you get to help a lot of different clients, right? You're not just with one company or one client. You get this amazing diversity and breadth of helping with different kinds of matters across many different clients, but you don't get to go as deep, right? First of all, because it's very costly to go as deep, and as they should be, clients are cost conscientious, but also because you are balancing your time and you're not in house, you're never going to know that depth and be arm in arm with the business in the way you can when you go in house. And so I think it's really digging in for yourself on what that trade-off is for you. So for me, I felt like through my years at Winston and Sheppard that I gained the really foundational, strong skill set as a lawyer across, as we mentioned, all these different practice areas. I really had kind of a blessing through the noise and the craziness of the economy, that I got to learn so much so quickly. And so when the opportunity came up to go in house, I really, sat down, as you do during in transitions, really kind of internalized and thought about what is that next chapter for me to drive impact? And true to myself, and has always been since, I love being close to the business. When you're in-house, you get to be really a builder. The skill set you bring with you is your legal skill set, your compliance skill set, just like engineers bring an engineering skill set or marketing skill sets for marketers, et cetera. You bring your skill set, but at the end of the day, you're there to build a business, and you become this true partner, side by side partner to everybody working in that business, and you know it in and out, and you're just focused on creating something amazing for customers, and for the business that you're building. And that really fills up my cup. It's really exciting for me. I thought I would love it, and it turned out I did. So that was a good transition for me. So I think for people looking at that decision, both paths are amazing. It's where and how do you want to drive your impact is how I would make that decision.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. And I definitely want to dive into the part you said about understanding the business. But I do want to ask specifically, like, how did the opportunity come up? Was Renovate America a client of yours?
Yeah, that actually happens often, but in this case, they were not a client. I think they were referred to me actually through a relationship I had through another law firm. They were a client, if my memory serves me correctly, because I did get a warm phone call, and they were just starting to build out the legal team. They had one person on the legal team, and they needed to
Wow.
hire someone to come in and scale the entire legal team, build out the function. It was an extremely interesting but also highly regulated product. It was in financial services. It touched a lot of government partnerships, which was another learning moment for me. I had not done as much government partnerships until that experience. And learning how to partner with a government entity and contract with a government entity and be there when they have questions was a really interesting new muscle that I really enjoyed learning during my time there. And so I met with the one legal person that was there. We talked about the vision. We talked about what was being built. I completely fell in love with the idea of how it was helping the community, how it was helping small businesses. Even at the time, they're focused more on the home improvement space. And so I took that leap, right? Every change is a combination of intentionality and a leap of faith. And it turned out to be amazing. We built out that legal team. We built out the compliance team. We built the company. It was a phenomenal, wonderful experience. Like I said, some things I took with me in skills, some were very new because of the government entity aspect of it, but now I get to carry those forward with me as well. So wonderful chapter. Was very, very grateful for it.
That's awesome to hear. It's we're not even halfway through your career or just over halfway, and you have just touched so many different facets of the law, from FCPA to litigation to tax to government compliance. It's just so cool to see how many different types of things you've sort of learned along the way. Can you talk about the mindset of approaching a new field of law or just a new field in general when you just have no idea where to even start?
Yeah, I would say a couple things. One, which is the mindset of yes and. It's not about saying yes to everything, right? We all have finite amount of hours in our day, but it's really when you get an opportunity, especially ones that seem scary or uncertain or new, to just lean in and really just be a forever learner. I have a funny experience when I first started working at Winston. I was preparing a brief or doing something, and my partner at the time was talking to someone on the phone and said, Dina's studying. And I took that as an insult. I was like, I don't study anymore. I'm done with law school. I'm practicing lawyer now. But it was phenomenal because he got to the heart of, wait, no, I'm forever studying. I'm forever learning. And I can't tell you how incredible that has been, not to jump around on our timeline too much, but even coming in all the way to today where we're all learning how to transform everything we're doing with these new AI capabilities. That same learning transformational mindset has brought me every single step of the way. So I would say it's not being afraid to learn, not being afraid to dig in, having a really good network of experts around you. So there's folks that I've brought with me, partners and experts and people in my community from every job, every part of the cycle of my life. I pick up the phone when they call, they pick up the phone when I call, and we all help each other learn, unpack. Something's new sometimes, something is new for everyone, not just me, and we're kind of all figuring it out together. And so I would say yes, and just keep learning. That's the only way through it. The only way to do it is just to work through it, and you'll feel so much more empowered and excited about what you're doing if you just embrace that.
I love it. I really admire that mindset, especially, I mean, you're CLO, you're in many positions of leadership. You know, sometimes it can be an exercise in maybe putting your ego aside and saying, hey, I want to learn this. I haven't had exposure to this. So I think that's a really admirable mindset.
Yeah, I think it's one that comes with every single part of the journey of life, not even just our career, but hopefully of all of our life.
Yeah, awesome to hear. Let's talk about promotions. You were promoted several times at Renovate America. Obviously, you're CLO of Gusto now. So, can you talk about how folks can set themselves up to advance within their in-house roles?
Yeah, and I would say this comes for and all the in-house roles I've been part of at Renovate, at Intuit, now at Gusto, and probably at most places folks work, which is tied to what I just said. If you see an opportunity, raise your hand. Take the opportunity to transform something. And I would say today, I talked about being a builder and how people love coming in house because you get to be part of building something. There is no better time to be a builder than now because you have these incredible tools where you get to use your expertise. You're still accountable for your work, but now AI can just superpower everything you're doing. It can take away those repetitive tasks. You can hand it to the AI. It can help you with research. It can help you be that learner. It can help you transform all of your workflows. And so I would say that that combination of that learner mindset, because technology is changing so incredibly quickly, we all have to have a learner mindset, and that builder mindset together, powered by AI, it's just amazing. And so I would say in my past, but especially folks today, you see an opportunity where you can really transform something, you can really lead something. Don't wait for a promotion, just do it. And when you're doing it, you're going to live into that potential, and folks will notice, folks will see it. You will yourself grow into that next phase of your development.
Love it, love it. And what are your thoughts on like making it known? Like you hear the phrase often, like closed mouths don't get fed. Like setting yourself up, making yourself available to take on more responsibility. Do you think stuff like that is important?
Yeah, I think it's coming to the heart, especially if you're in your house, really knowing your business and having close relationship with your business partners because you see the roadmap, everyone's sharing the roadmap. It's not a secret, it's an opportunity to come and say, I can help you build this. I can help you empower this. And I will say one thing that's really, really exciting about being in legal and compliance at Gusto is one of the big things that we are working and solving is compliance for small businesses, right? If you're starting a small business, there are so many rules you have to navigate, thousands of rules, so many compliance obligations. And Gusto is really coming to the heart of helping small businesses with that. So what more exciting place to be a builder than illegal compliance at Gusto, right? So I think it's that I'm sure in different ways can exist in other opportunities too, but the mindset is consistent. If you're know your roadmap, know your customer, obsess about their pain points so you can be that partner that the business wants to work with to solve things for that customer. And you all of a sudden find yourselves in all types of rooms and opportunities to build and create things from within the legal and compliance group.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And since we're on the topic, you talk a lot about understanding the business. Like, what does that actually mean in practice?
Yeah, what that means, I would say, always start with the customer, right? And it's just something that I've been super lucky, frankly, in every in-house opportunity I've had has been a company that really cares about the customer, and that could not, be more true than at Gusto. It's a big reason why I joined Gusto, and I really enjoy my time here. Is you start with the customer. What is that small business experiencing from when they want to start their company all the way through hiring their first employee, scaling their business, maybe getting health insurance and get a 401k, all the compliance rules. What are they going through? What are they experiencing? And how can you make that not only easier for them, but maybe do some of the things for them so they don't even have to think about it or worry about it? And so the number one way you can help and know your business is to really know your customer, understand their journey, and know your product, play in the product, right? Go in there, try it, experience it, talk to customers, right? Have the opportunity to sit down and watch a customer use the product or learn from them what they love about the product and what they want the product to do that maybe it's not doing yet. Because then if you really, really know it doesn't matter what group you're in a company, right? I think legal and compliance has as much opportunity to do that as somebody in an R&D type function or a revenue type function or a customer success type function. If you really know that and you understand how the business operates, you become that problem solver. And that now you are that completely key partner to the business in creating the product, solving problems for customers, and bringing things to life. And that's the biggest unlock.
It sounds really important. I was talking to Mark Pike. He was associate general counsel at Anthropic, and he also talked about this. He said that he had experimented a lot with actually vibe coding his own tools using the product, even though it was not in his job description at all. So it sounds like, that's one of the biggest leadership aspects that people have is really getting down and dirty in the business in some ways.
100%. And we're weaving AI and how we transform how we are doing our work into every part of our legal and compliance function at Gusto as well. So that looks, if you kind of look at all those jobs to be done and all those pain points, how can you transform? We're still accountable. We're still deep experts. We're still that deep partner. All the things I mentioned are still there. But how we do our job, how we execute on our job, AI becomes that superpower, including what you're talking about, taking a workflow that was done in one way and completely transforming it with AI. And that is an incredibly huge opportunity and something we're all doing here at Gusto as well.
I love it. Love it. So I'm excited to talk about what you're seeing on the front lines with legal tech and AI, but I do just want to talk about your path to Gusto. We just kind of talked a lot about Renovate America. You were at Intuit as an associate general counsel for just over 3 years. And so I guess I'm curious, like, how did that role come up? How did that transition happen?
Yeah, so I Intuit also has a very large presence across California, including in San Diego. Obviously, new folks there, and there's lots of things obviously in this ecosystem that can be done to help small businesses. Intuit was also doing that, so I had a wonderful time again focusing on the small businesses through all of these different chapters in my career, and got to do some wonderful deals and incredibly high impact work. I fell even more, I think, deeply in love with the small business and entrepreneurial journey during that time, both in, I think, my personal life, as even more people in my personal life started small businesses and were experiencing that amazing opportunity and the challenges that come with it. And then, I had known about Gusto for a while, incredible company. And so when there was an opportunity to talk to Gusto, I was extremely excited to take it. And now, almost 4 years later, it's been a phenomenal and is a great journey here too.
It's just so cool to see you've been like sort of in the small business industry sort of for over 7 years now. Would you say? I mean, we talked about how much of a passion it is for you, but I've also heard you talk about how your husband has a small business and many of your family members do. So that's really awesome to hear. Um, cool. Well, in terms of Gusto, so you joined as chief legal officer, and can you talk a little bit about your day to day? Like, what are some of your high level responsibilities?
Yeah, absolutely. So I empower a team that is helping the business with legal, compliance, and regulatory affairs. So we're kind of touching end to end the journey of making sure, obviously, Gusto is building things in a really thoughtful, safe, and compliant way. But also, as I mentioned, which I find extremely exciting, is actually helping build the products that help the small businesses with compliance, because that red tape just keeps getting longer and more complicated. And so, we keep taking incredible steps forward, and there's so much more opportunity to help small businesses. And if you look across all the different areas that Gust is helping small businesses, it's payroll and benefits and 401k and compliance and all these different incredibly amazing ways to take something challenging off the plate of the small business, really help them proactively do it for them in certain situations. And now with AI, be even that more proactive, opinionated partner. So my day to day is spent very heavily thinking about that, honestly, in every facet, both in terms of how the products we're building, in the processes we're building, in the governance, right, to ensure that we can move very quickly but safely and thoughtfully, in advising our business partners and empowering a team, right? An incredible, diverse group of folks across different kinds of disciplines that are here at Gusto that are similarly obsessing about the small business journey and making sure that we have an incredibly empowered department of people that are able to also have a strong builder ability that can use AI and that can change and impact the company and the small businesses we serve.
That's awesome to hear. And are you able to give an idea of how much the team has grown and how big the team is now?
Yeah, absolutely. So the team has ebbed and flowed over time, right? I think as you look, we've had certain acquisitions. So we've had folks come in through acquisitions. We've had folks come in that have gone embedded to the business, come back into LNC. We've built out certain groups. So we have north of 70 people at this point across all parts of legal compliance and government
Wow.
affairs. And, we have licenses for a lot of the different parts of the business that we do. So we're in highly regulated spaces and we know how to do that really, really well, which is fantastic. And it's a core part. I would say if you break down everything we're talking about, everything we're building, quality and trust is foundational, right? It has to work well, it has to work right, and it has to have that high quality bar, which is very important to us.
And what are some of the biggest challenges you're dealing with? You mentioned regulation. Would you say that's one of the biggest things?
Yes, I would say for both our business and all the businesses we serve, right, the regulatory footprint continues to become, in some places, more robust, in other places, more ambiguous, right? And we have this wonderful benefit of having a wonderful expert driven team. But a small business, if you're truly a small business, you don't have a large legal and compliance team. And so that's what's really exciting about finding a partner like Gusto to help navigate those things. So we're obsessing about both of those, which is how do we build those incredible products? And then obviously, how do we navigate that when we're doing deals at the company, when we're launching products, when we're building technology and infrastructure, legal and compliance is an arm to arm partner across all of those things. And one of my favorite moments is when I have another leader on my leadership team that's like, oh, I've already been working with X person on your team. Just wanted to let you know what's happening. I'm like, that's wonderful, because that means that they have that relationship and that embedded proactive relationship, I guess, with the people on my team. That is a win.
Yeah, I love it, Dina. It's really apparent how passionate you are about your job and how much you enjoy working with your team. So, just really inspirational success story. I want to transition into a topic that as a lot of people are talking about nowadays. Obviously, legal tech and AI. Are you able to talk about, I guess, from a high level? What are you seeing in terms of the impact on legal work? Is it increasing efficiency by the amount that these companies are saying? And if so, what are you seeing on the front lines?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would take kind of a step back into how to even start in this journey, right? And we're deep, very deep in this journey. But if I go back a year ago or something, when we were getting going on this journey, how do you start it? You've got to start with your workflows. You have to really understand how your team is spending their days, how you're helping the business, and where that AI can plug in. And I would say the other thing is being very comfortable with very fast iteration. That means both with the tools you pick, how you're using the tools, and embedded technologies, right? Because most companies have both. Maybe you have a legal tech type tool or marketing tech type tool, other that's kind of more craft specific. And then you have broader tools that can work across everything, like a chat GPT or a Claude. And so it's becoming really educated on what works best, why you're picking one, how to prompt it, and ultimately have ownership over the outcome, right? Like I mentioned, quality is extremely important. We're still accountable for the advice we give and the expertise we give. And so it's how do you embed those tools into all of our workflows while making the quality and the expertise even better, frankly, than it was before, so that people can be in more rooms and can spend more time on the strategic building and partnership and problem solving, because they're able to take more of those things off. So one thing that we did earlier in our journey is we actually had every single part of the team kind of did almost like a pitch-a-thon. They came and they said, I looked at all of the tools in my space, and commercial and privacy and product and compliance. I looked at the top 10 that I know of at the time. A lot has changed already since. Here's the one, if I had the budget, I would get. And it allowed us to have this really full conversation as a team to start to weed out what actually is most impactful for our team and the problems we're trying to solve, which could obviously vary legal department by legal department. Then we were very intentional about making sure we're not signing up to very long-term commitments, because things, again, change so quickly. And we continue to iterate. We don't make a decision, just say, if that's a decision, we're not going to look back on it. We very regularly reassess what and how we're building. Most recently, we did a hackathon within the team where every team, we went into a room and every team vibe coded all of these incredible workflows with their knowledge, with their expertise, with their guardrails that we created Loom videos and everybody shared. And some of those are live and in production after all the vetting and everything happened. And some of those are things that just drove incredible curiosity and learning and frankly ideas that shared across teams, because sometimes one team has a problem they're trying to solve. Guess what? Another part of LNC is too. And so it got everyone in the room. We had a lot of celebration and excitement around it. So we're tackling this across many different facets. It's tools, it's workflows, it's embedding our skill sets, our AI skill sets into business workflows. It's all of it at once and kind of weaving it into every which way of how we work.
Love it. It sounds like you're really investing heavily in it. I love the hackathon idea. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess from a high level, like it sounds like you are of the opinion that it's still a bit early. Would that be fair to say in terms of how much it's like replacing legal work?
I do not think it's early. I think
Okay.
we are seeing real gains, and I wouldn't just say efficiency because efficiency is definitely one metric. Of course, if you have SLAs like on contracts or privacy reviews, those are things that you can track better with SLAs. But it's also transforming how we work, right? It's like I said, it's giving us more time for the strategic, more time for the being in the room. It's definitely increasing capacity. We're definitely seeing capacity increases, but I think the important thing is, in addition to the capacity increases, is the transfer of how much impact we can drive because of it. That's the really exciting part. I think what is constantly changing, and very important, my team staying all over it, is just knowing what tools are out there, constantly assessing the tools, trying the tools, but making sure that you're not being static in your learnings. And having that judgment and knowing again your business well enough to know when do I need a craft legal specific tool, or when is this something that I could do building a prompt and a workflow over something like a Claude or ChatGPT.
Yeah, I love your point about staying up to date. I mean, it is truly changing week to week. Like Anthropic will just say a small announcement, and it will impact the entire legal tech industry. And we've been seeing stuff like that just week over week. They have like a new Word plugin now, so it's been really interesting to see. But it sounds like you guys are staying at the cutting edge, so that's awesome to hear. I guess in terms of the billable hour, do you have any thoughts on how it's going to affect that?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, co was a co a chair for a recent L Suite on site we had, talking about this for 4 days of how the relationship with outside counsel and general counsels and companies are going to evolve. And we value very deeply our relationships with outside counsel. There is absolutely many reasons why we do and will continue to partner with outside counsel, but the way we are coming to outside counsel is different. You can do more work first yourself. You can get more educated. You can have the ask be more targeted. You could start with a V1. There's so many things you can do. Whereas before this opportunity, it really is an opportunity. It's really cool to see what we can do now. You'd go with an open-ended question. And sometimes you would get a work product that wasn't what you had in mind, or sometimes you spend more than you wanted to spend. Whatever it is, it lets us be so much more strategic and targeted and intentional with the way we work with outside counsel. And that's been fantastic. I will say, I still have a lot of friends, both in firms I've worked with and in firms that we partner with at Gusto and otherwise. And they're all thinking about this, right? This is a transformational time for everybody. The firms are thinking about it too, and what that means to come up as and be a learner, like we talked about as a more junior associate, what that means as your partner, and how to talk about that with your clients. We're all living it. We all need to talk about it. We all need to work together because at the end of the day, we're just trying to support our businesses in the best, most effective way we can.
Awesome, awesome, Dina. Well, it was great hearing about your career, and congrats on all your success. You're truly an inspiration to me and many others. I'll wrap by asking you and maybe a non-legal related question. So, I guess what's your favorite way to give back?
Yeah, I would say a couple things. I'll give a bit like a work, more related work, and a personal one. On the work side, I was one of the early founders and now on the board and executive staff of an organization called Sun Law. It's an organization for women in-house counsel. We have over 800 members now, and it is a truly warm, connected network of people that are there to support, uplevel, and help each other. So we have a listserv where people are asking everything from who should I engage for this matter to I'm going through a transition in my career to I'm hiring, help me find an amazing person, and everything in between. We have incredible events with firm sponsors. And it's really been something that now we're digging in. We actually had GCAI join us to do a session about a month ago to teach about prompt writing to the broader community. So it's something that brings us together as a broader in-house community, and also really helps us kind of grow and learn together. And so it's that multiplier, so to speak, of impact. And it's been something very close to my heart since I've been there since very, very early on, and something I feel very passionate about. So that's one area. I also love other organizations like L Suite and Women's General Counsel Network, but Sun Law is one that I really had a deeper footprint on in its development. So definitely love that part of it. And on a personal, I have 3 kids. So I try as much as I can outside of work to be involved in their school, their life, all the different activities and different things, and really enjoying watching them grow up, getting to know the community around them. And then sometimes that starts blending, where the people I know and care about so deeply on the professional side, I see on the soccer field, and that's always a fun moment.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Awesome, Dina. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. It was great to hear about your journey, and I'm excited to follow along your career.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful to talk to you today. I appreciate you having me.